Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm going to keep saying hi to you guys as you pop in. I see my little eyeball thing and I see the numbers going up. So I'm going to do what I typically do is just say hi and welcome to you guys. I'm really glad you're here. And I am going to probably just I'm going to give you a little bit of introduction about who I am while I wait for more eyeballs to show up. So, hi. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Dana. Hi, Sierra. Hi, Happy Paws. Hey, so glad to see you. So glad to, Miraculous Beauty. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. I am so excited to see you too. My name is Sarah. I am a veterinarian. I am a US-based veterinarian. I'm actually in Colorado. It's 2:00 here. Not sure where it is in your neck of the woods in your time, but I am here to answer your questions. I see, it's good to see you too, Huff. Hi. Hi, Carol. Hi, Elenis. Hi, Soap. Not sure if I, not sure if I am saying that right. So, absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful questions. So as you see, the moderator has already said, go ahead and drop your questions into the chat. My name is Dr. Sarah Wooten. I am a US-based veterinarian. I practiced for 16 years in California and Colorado. I emphasize my practice on dogs and cats, and this is all about cats. While I'm licensed to treat all animals, I say if you your honey creeper or your lizard or your cow or what, not a dog or a cat, take them to another veterinarian who specializes in those animals. I'm a cat girl and I'm a dog girl. So in this hour that we have together, I am going to be fielding the questions that come out of the chat window. So if you have one for me, just throw it in there. And I will answer to the best of my ability from 16 years experience in the field. Before I get into answering all these questions, I do have to put up a giant disclaimer that says that everything I say here is for educational purpose only and does not, should not, cannot, should not, will not substitute for the advice of your local veterinarian. So if you are absolutely needing help from a professional, get somebody in your area or get somebody via telemedicine. There is a lot of vets this year doing telemedicine, which is basically virtual visits where you do everything via screen. Not sure how well those are working out yet, but they are available. Okay, so we are going to, the other thing is I want to let you know that when I get stumped, I've brought my friends here. Dun, dun, dun. See how big that is? So if there are any questions that I cannot answer, I can usually find that in there. And then if we need any wonderful pictures of lovely things that are going on with our pets so that we can see exactly what we're talking about, then I have this lovely dermatology book. People are always not so sure about dermatology books because they have some pretty crazy pictures in here. But let's not get into that. Let's answer your questions, okay? All right, so let's talk about, this question is from Vanessa, and it says advice for a 12-year-old cat with stage 2 kidney disease. So if you guys don't know, kidney insufficiency, kidney problems, kidney disease, it's got a lot of different names these days, is really common in older cats. There's a lot of different reasons why. But what we do know is it's common, and we're getting better and better as vets as detecting it earlier and earlier so we can have intervention that can help these cats. Because what happens is their kidney filters, the little filters in their kidneys called your glomerular filtration apparatus. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Their little filters in their kidneys start to shut down. And you don't start to see any kind of sickness with a cat, or really any animal that is, until there's been a loss of 70 to 75% of kidney function, right? That's a lot. We would like to catch it before it gets to 75% loss of function. So in the past, our tests could not detect anything before that happened. But now there are tests where you can screen cats earlier and be able to start interventions for them earlier. And one of the main tests that's available out there, it's a blood test. It's very quick, it's easy, it's relatively inexpensive, is called SDMA. S as in Sally, D as in dog, M as in Mary, A as in apple, SDMA. And this is just an enzyme that they test for that is much more sensitive than checking the old parameters, which was BUN and creatinine. Okay, Vanessa, back to your question. We have increased her water intake and wet food, but would like to try a kidney diet. She was a heavier cat, but has lost a lot of weight. And unfortunately, that is something that happens. These cats, once their kidneys start to not function as well as they used to, they tend to have muscle loss and fat loss because they're just peeing it out. So the question that I'm dealing with here is a kidney diet. Will that help this animal lose weight, not stop losing weight? Possibly. What those kidney diets are designed is they are designed to have restricted levels of protein, because protein is what is building up in the blood of these cats in later stage kidney issues. And so we restrict the protein and we make it very, very high quality, very easily to digest, so we can try to keep weight on them and try to minimize the effects of kidney disease on the rest of the body. So would you like to try a kidney diet? Yeah, you can try a kidney diet. And there's lots out there. These kidney foods are usually, well, always by prescription only. And they come through your local veterinarian. You can buy them online, but you'll still need some little prescription card from a veterinarian, because healthy cats should not be eating these diets. Healthy cats should be able to have regular levels of protein. And so we need to make sure that you're feeding the animal the correct thing. So what I would do if I were you, remember, this is educational only, I would talk to your veterinarian about getting some samples of some different kidney foods. There's several different products out there on the market. I know that Hills makes one, Royal Canin makes one, Purina makes one, Blue Buffalo makes one, actually, and there might be more out there now. It's always changing. And each of these companies have several different kinds of food. And as we know, cats can be picky sometimes. So I would say, hey, my cat has been diagnosed with kidney insufficiency, and I would like to look into starting my cat on a kidney food, right? And ask them for samples. They normally have a bunch of samples sitting in the back of the hospital, and you want to try a couple different kinds because cat might not like this kind, but it might like another kind. And the other thing is, it's nice to have a couple different options laying around in case your cat is picky. Okay. So that's all I have to say on that. And let me look through here. Okay, here's another question about food from Jackie. Hello, my friend Jackie. Do you endorse Royal Canin Satiety diet for cats? My cat is not liking it, ... Well, I have, yeah. So satiety diet is designed to help cats feel fuller. It's designed to help cats lose weight in a safe and healthy manner. So we do know that pet obesity, cat obesity is a big problem here in the States. I don't know how it is where you live, because I know I have people that tune in from all over the world. But here in the States, we got fat cats. We have a lot of fat cats. In fact, we have so many fat cats that people look at a fat cat and they think it's normal, and it's just not. In fact, we see regular sized cats so infrequently that we're like, that cat is skinny. What's wrong with that cat, right? So first of all, before I get into this food situation, because apparently we have some food questions today, how do you know if your cat's too heavy or too thin or whatever? Cats can be a little tricky because we not only measure their body fat, but we also try and measure their muscle thickness. So you could have a cat that is fat, has a lot of fat on it, but has low levels of muscle. We call this skinny fat, right? We see this in humans too. They're skinny fat. That's not good, because both fat and muscle affect your metabolism. They are both hormonal organs. Fat even more so than muscle. And fat has a lot to say. And once fat's there, fat likes to stay there, right? And so the thing with cats is cats have to consume calories on a regular basis. If they do not, then they can develop something called hepatic lipidosis. That's just a really fancy doctory way of saying fatty liver syndrome. And what happens if a cat is starved or put on a weight loss program and it's too aggressive or they're just not eating, the fat, the liver starts to build up fat and it can be lethal. And so it's really important if you do have a fat cat that you work with a veterinarian or a professional to have the weight come off slowly, safely, right? Because even if you restrict too much calories on a cat, you can cause them to develop fatty liver syndrome. It's really important. So the question is about this particular diet. Well, this is one of the weight loss diets that's out there. But again, every cat is unique. And if your cat isn't liking it, then there are other brands that you can check out. One of the ones that I have had success with in private practice with seeing animals liking to eat it and seeing good results with weight loss is the metabolic diet by Hills. Hills Metabolic Diet. It's another prescription food. You do need a veterinarian to prescribe it for you. But if your cat needs to lose weight, something like metabolic diet could be a good try. Again, walk on in there and ask for a sample, right? Oftentimes they'll just give you a little bit of food so you can try it out and you don't end up wasting your money on a diet that your cat doesn't like, okay? So that's all I have to say about that. All right, let's take, here's an interesting question. I'm getting old here, so my eyes are like, what? Okay, Dana, hello, my friend. Do you prefer a vet assistant that has on-the-job training or actual schooling? Ooh, good question. I want both. I want both on-the-job training and schooling. So let me tell you, I have seen benefits with both, right? With the schooling, you have a certain level, you have a certain skill set that you just come out with. You have certain book knowledge that is very valuable. You know about anesthetic drugs, you know about pain management, you know about animal handling, you know about all this stuff that's really, really important. So schooling, I think, is always a great option, especially if you really want to use this as a career. On-the-job training is also wonderful. I'll tell you what, some of the best vet techs I've ever had they have been self-trained on-the-job training, and they've been in the job for 25 years. Man, you do not want to mess with those ladies. They know what they're talking about, right? So I prefer, if I was going to pick one, I would like, don't laugh at me, I would like on-the-job training. Because what I found is people can come out of school with a lot of head knowledge, but not a lot of practical knowledge. And so it's really important to combine that schooling with experience. Also, it's important if you are thinking about vet tech as a career is to just consider your return on investment. I tell people this all the time when they're asking if they should become a veterinarian. You really need to do this job if you really love the job. Even loving animals sometimes is not enough because the job itself can be brutal. And we can talk about that if you like, but you need to go into this understanding that it's not very highly paid, and it's a long hours, and there's a lot of physical stuff going on with it. And it's not just playing with puppies and kittens. There's a lot of sad and hard things that happen too. So getting that experience by volunteering at a veterinary hospital is invaluable if you are considering a career in veterinary medicine. No, okay, so Merzba said, you're the best. No, you're the best. You're the best. Okay, here we go. Stuck with E. Hi, my 8-year-old female Siamese hasn't been eating much lately. We got another cat and now she doesn't eat as much. Anything wrong? I don't know. So if you have noticed a specific correlation, now listen. Correlation is not necessarily causation. So if you're noticing a correlation between eating less and having another cat in the house, there could be a correlation there. And it's something that you definitely should investigate. So it could be that your Siamese is stressed because this new cat is here and now she feels too stressed to eat. Or it could be that the new cat thinks it's fun to keep your Siamese away from the food bowl. Or there could be something else completely going on under the hood. So it's actually a good idea, if your Siamese will tolerate it, to feed her in a different area. Oh, okay, we're back. I popped out and then I popped back in. So correlation is not necessary causation, right? So it is important that if your cat is eating less, to know exactly how much is less. Is there any vomiting? Is there any diarrhea? Is there any other signs that are going on? Or is it just something that is your cat is stressed and maybe you need to create more space between these two animals and then reintroduce? Could be that you need to feed your Siamese in a quieter place that is away from this new animal. A couple of different things. You're going to have to troubleshoot it a little bit, and definitely never hesitate to talk to your local veterinarian if you are concerned about how much your animal is eating, okay? Stephanie Wine says, hi, doctor, great to see you. It's great to see you too. Thank you for saying something, and thank you for being here. Gru, here's an interesting question. I've never heard this before. Elena, should we boil canned cat foods? Okay, so I'm not going to, like my gut would be no. Cat foods are packed in a sterile manner, as sterile as possible. And boiling a can, I don't recommend it. Now, I don't know what canned cat foods are like in other places other than the States, but here in the States, there's some pretty vigorous controls around these cans. And if the can itself looks perfectly normal as an intact can, without any punctures or anything else like that, and it isn't past the expiration date, should be good to go. If the can is popped up at all, so if the top of the can is kind of bulging, that's a sign that there's probably something in that can that is not good for your cat to eat, and the food has gone bad, has gone spoiled, right? So the main thing to know is if that can top is popped up or bulging in any way, or if there's any punctures or defects in the can itself in any other way, don't serve that to your cat. Otherwise, should be good to go, in the States at least. Okay. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. Oh, this is a great question. Thank you so much for asking this. Bridget, hi there. My 1-year-old male, neutered, good for you, loves humping blankets while he makes bread in them and bites it. How do we get him to stop? Or is it not an issue at all? Well, honestly, Bridget, as a veterinarian, again, this is for educational purposes only. If your cat is not injuring himself, then I would say let him go to town, okay? That's so much nicer than him, I don't know, humping some furniture and scratching it all up. When he does that, what he's doing is he's releasing feel-good hormones in his brain. Things like serotonin and dopamine, the feel-good chemicals, oxytocin, the connection chemical. And so there's something about this act that your cat is doing that is releasing those happy chemicals. And if this isn't an antique blanket that is irreplaceable, I would say let him go for it. And if you have friends over, heck, it makes a good conversation piece. Maybe put him in the other room so he can get his jollies out in private. But honestly, this cat seems to be doing a pretty good job of managing his own mental and emotional space. So Dr. Sarah, 2 thumbs up for the blanket humping. And I would say that if you were my client too. Okay. Here we go. Next. Have to question. Okay. Ooh, I don't know if I can answer this, but I will try. I used to feed my cat raw, but I can't afford it anymore. I'm very sorry. So that I have to feed her dry food. Is there anything I can do to make kibble better except adding water? Well, so the first thing to do is make sure that you are buying a high quality commercial cat food that is certified by AAFCO, the American Association of Feed Control Officials, AAFCO. There should be a AAFCO statement on that bag. Again, this is for United States cat food. So it needs to be AAFCO certified to be complete and balanced. Secondly, you want to buy something that's high quality. So generally speaking, the higher the quality, the more you pay a little bit. Now, there's so many foods out there, and I am not a food expert by any stretch of the imagination. But I do know if you go and you buy the cheapest bag of food that's at the grocery store, it's like feeding your cat McDonald's, right? I mean, yes, there's nutrients in there. Are they the highest quality, from the highest sourced, cooked in the best way, stored in the best way? Maybe not. And so you want to invest what you can. Next, the thing to do is make sure that cat is also eating canned food. All right. I always have told all of my clients and my friends with cats to feed a combination of canned and dry food if you're feeding commercial food. And the reason being is canned food is higher in moisture and protein, meat, both of the things that cats really, really need. And so it's excellent to be able to supplement your cat with both canned and dry food, right? Because those dry foods are higher in carbs. They have to be in order to cook it, to stick it together, right? And your canned foods are higher in protein and moisture. So if you can add in a canned diet, canned food, great. The other thing is maybe buy some raw products and then just kind of mix that into your cat's food as well. I had a lot of clients when I was in practice. I retired 2 years ago. I had a lot of clients who would feed mostly commercial food because it was affordable and, let's face it, easy. And then they would buy some raw products and add that in. And they'd say, "Doctor, is this a problem? Can I do this?" And I say, "Well, your cat looks healthy to me, so go right ahead." Again, I know that talking about nutrition, religion, and politics is a good way to start a fight in a social media forum. So I'm not going to go anywhere about whether I recommend raw or whether I recommend commercial, because my friends, I've seen animals fed both that look great on both. I've seen animals fed both and look like crap on both. So I think it's really individual. All right. But those are a couple of ideas to try and get you through until you can make some different choices. Okay, here we go. Any advice to help a 2-year-old cat lose weight at home? Yes. So unless your cat has some sort of hormonal condition like thyroid issues, diabetes, things like that, then the main problem is that there's too many calories going in and not enough calories going out. Right? That is common for indoor kitties. Okay. Our biggest problem, no pun intended, is fat cats. So you'll want to restrict the calories and increase the exercise. So first of all, let's go back to whether you know if your cat is too fat or not, right? I never told you guys how to figure that out. So here's an easy way to do it at home. You are going to want to check your cat's ribs. And don't laugh at me, but I'm going to go get a stuffed animal. Hold on. Okay, I know this dog. I know, but for all intents and purposes, just pretend that this lovely little husky animal is a cat. This is a Maine Coon cat, okay? So when you are checking an animal's weight, you're going to want to check right behind the ribs here, okay? So right behind the ribs, right here. See, here's the front leg, right behind the ribs. You want to do this, like this. Like rub it back and forth like a washboard, okay? So if this part of your cat's ribs feel like the back of the hand, you're great. Weight's fine. Weight's fine. If it feels like squishy, like your palm, too fat. If it sticks out like your knuckles, too skinny, okay? This is what you're going for right here. This is what you want to feel. So if it's too fat, then you got to lose some weight. So you want to make sure you're feeding the right amount. This can be challenging. Let me tell you why. Most commercial cat foods are extraordinarily tasty to cats. And in fact, I've tasted most cat foods out there. They do taste pretty good. It's part of the veterinary training for sure. So these cat foods are super palatable, which means your cat loves to eat them. And they are very calorie dense. If you look at your bag of food, you will see a little sentence under that AFCO statement that says, this food has blank, a certain number, kcals/cup. Kcals stands for kilocalories. Kilocalories per cup, kilocalories per bag. That's what they're required to label. All right. So you need to make sure that you're not feeding your cat too much. Most cats, average sized cats, only need indoor average sized cats, healthy, only need about 350 calories per day. Most cups of food, if you look at them, a cup of food ranges from anywhere, usually, I mean, I've seen them as low as 300 calories per cup, but I've seen them as high as 450 calories per cup. So if you're feeding your cat just, a spoonful, a cup a day, probably feeding your cat too much. Okay. So you really need to A, find out if your cat is overweight, B, find out what your cat's ideal weight is. This is where your veterinarian is going to be super helpful. And C, get an exact amount from your veterinarian to feed your cat. Now, most veterinarians, me included, would calculate out for you, the client, how much exactly to feed that cat per day. And that would be in the amount of calories, right? Ernie Ward, who is one of the founders of the Association for the Prevention of Pet Obesity, and his name is Dr. Ernie Ward. He's an awesome guy. He told me something. He said that it's not accurate to measure out cups of food. He said you actually have to weigh the food and do it on a gram scale to get the actual amount, because you don't know if you're underbidding or overbidding those calories per day. Okay, so have your veterinarian calculate how much you should feed. That includes everything that goes into your cat's mouth per day, and stick with that. And stick with it until your cat reaches their ideal weight. And you can either weigh your cat at home by, if you have a scale, weigh yourself. I know no one wants to weigh themselves. I get it. But weigh yourself, and then weigh yourself with your cat, and then take that amount with the cat and subtract the amount that you weigh. That's a gross way to see how much your cat is weighing. Also, you can take your cat into the veterinary hospital. So fun. I get it. And have them weigh the cat for you like once a month. If you are restricting the calories the way that you should to get to the weight, then it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months to reach your goal weight in most cases. The other thing is to increase the amount of exercise. You can do this through playtime. You can do this through taking your cat for walks. You can do this through tossing kibble for your cat to hunt and pounce. This is exercise. This is mental stimulation. This is great. You can take the food for the day and split it up into smaller portions, and then put it around the house in places where your cat has to jump to get to it. There are a lot of different ways to slow down your cat's eating. And then just track your progress and know that you are supposed to be meeting your goal within 3 to 6 months. Okay. Okie dokie. Oh, this is an interesting question. Thank you so much for asking. Maria, how to make sure my cats recognize each other after going to the vet? I'm always so nervous that they won't be bonded anymore after one visits the vet. Well, that is a really kind concern that you have for your cats. Thank you for being concerned for your cat's emotional well-being. So cats recognize each other with a variety of cues, some of which are visual, just the way the cat looks, but a lot of them are pheromones. So the scent glands that cats have, they have them on their face, they have them at the base of their tail, they have them in different places. And these also cats will use to recognize each other after. Sometimes if your cat's acts strange after they come home from the veterinarian, they don't seem like they're together, that could just be stress from the veterinary hospital. So make sure to give them a lot of space and a nice, calm environment, and they'll recognize each other again after they have had some time to kind of calm down and get reoriented to where they are. So really great concern. I would not have that big of concern. Another thing you could try doing that might increase the comfort of everybody involved is when you take your cat to the vet, bring a t-shirt or some bedding that smells like the other cat, or maybe a toy or something that smells like the other cat, and put that in there. And that will provide some extra comfort, some feel of home, things like that. So good question. Thank you so much for asking. Okay. Now that I have my stuffed animal, I'm going to hold it so I feel really happy. Okay. Hi, Dr. Sarah. What advice do you have for cats with diarrhea and given medicine but is still having problems? Oh, no. This is terrible. So my advice is cats with diarrhea can be a really frustrating problem. And it can be really difficult sometimes to determine what the problem is. And in order to do that, you need to work closely with a veterinarian, because sometimes it's trial and error, figuring out what the cause is and what the treatment is, right? I've had that happen to me where I have, thought for sure, this medicine is going to fix this cat. Cat goes home, takes the medicine, client calls me, this is not working. I'm like, oh no. So when medicine is not working, we have to go back to the drawing board. So my friends, let's talk about diarrhea. Diarrhea, I love my job. Diarrhea in cats has two big causes, okay? One big cause, GI. GI stands for gastrointestinal. The problem lies in the gastrointestinal tract, the stomach, the intestines, the colon, wherever. And that's where the problem is, and that's where you need to focus your treatment. Then there's extra GI, right? It's all the things outside the GI tract that can cause cats to have diarrhea. And I'm thinking about things like hormonal issues, stress, neurological problems, liver problems, so many problems, right? So what your veterinarian is going to have to do is they're going to have to not only look at the tests that they've run already, but they're going to have to look at your cat's lack of response to treatment and factor that in to what they need to do next. And it's likely that they need to do some more testing. The standard testing that we do in cats when they have diarrhea, what I used to do was I would run a fecal test. I'd look for parasites. I'd look for imbalances in the gut bacteria. I would look for blood. I would look for intestinal cells. I'd look for all this stuff, right? And then if the cat looked sick, right, acting sick, I would usually run a blood panel as well. Sometimes I'd run some urine as well. And the reason I run the blood panel and the urine is to make sure I rule out all of those extra GI problems. And then usually what I would try is I would say, well, Mrs. Jones or whoever it is, you need to try this medicine and we need to see if it's going to work. So sometimes it's a combination of factors. Medicine that we prescribe for cats can range from metronidazole to Panacur to fenbendazole to other antibiotics for gut problems. Then there's probiotics that we also prescribe. Those are the good gut bacteria that we try and repopulate the gut with. Then we also oftentimes will prescribe a bland food, because a cat or a person or a dog or whoever, when they're having diarrhea, their gut is not as able to digest things. And so you have to give the gut a break while still making sure you get those calories in, right? So we'll often prescribe a bland diet. That can either be a prescription diet like Hill's ID. Maybe you've had that prescribed to you before, or it could be something that you make at home. Boiled chicken and rice is a very, very famous one. Sometimes just switching to a bland diet for a while is enough to give the gut a chance to heal. What I'm trying to convey to you is that you need to find out the cause of the diarrhea and then tailor the treatment to it. Otherwise, you're just shooting in the dark, right? Your veterinarian's shooting in the dark. No one knows what's going on. And so it's really important to get those pieces of information, so that those diagnostics, so that your vet can make the right call and not waste your money on more medicine that may not be working at all. And that's what I would tell my friends, and that's what I would tell my clients. Don't forget, this is for educational purposes only. Okay. Oof. So, this is nice that people are, okay. Hold on. I am looking through all of your questions because there are many, many, many of them. It's like my time. I'm doing okay. All right. So I'm sorry. This is my old lady eyes, Alexis. Hi there. My cat sometimes has a reddened anal area? ? He doesn't show any signs of distress, but it is red. Is that normal? Well, anytime something's red, that means it's inflamed. And so it's not necessarily normal. Now, your cat may not be noticing it, but it sounds like it's an anal itis. So the tissue around that anal area can get inflamed. And anytime anything is inflamed, we just call it an itis. Whatever it is, add itis on the end, boom, there you have. So there's different things that can make that happen. One of the main causes is anal gland issues. So I don't know if you know this. I'm going to bring back my little, not cat, but it'll still work. So in case you don't know, this is an animal butt. Here we go. And let's just, for all intents and purposes, pretend that there's a butt hole right there. Okay. So cats and dogs, can't believe I'm doing this. Okay, there we go. Cats and dogs have anal glands. Did you know that? Yeah, humans don't have them. I can't even imagine what it would be like if humans had them. But these animals have these anal glands, and they're located at the 4 o'clock and the about 7 o'clock location on either side of the anus. There are two glands. They are inside the anus, and they're normally the size of a pea. And they contain liquid to chunky material that cats use, and dogs, to mark their scent on things, to mark scent on their poo. This is one of the ways animals communicate. Yes, I know this is gross, but we're all adults here. We can talk about this. So sometimes those anal glands can get a little angry, and we don't entirely know. Sometimes it's where they're located. Sometimes the anatomical structure of some animals causes these anal glands to have more problems. Sometimes it's secondary to loose stool. Sometimes it's secondary to allergies. Sometimes it's secondary to tapeworms. Okay, these are all different things that can cause irritation back in that anal area. And what can happen is one of or both of the glands can swell up, can get red. Cats that have anal gland issues or itchy bums will scoot their bums along the floor, right? We as humans are like, what is going on? That's hilarious. Well, that cat has an itchy or painful bum and needs to see the veterinarian. So could be an anal gland issue, might need to have the anal glands expressed. Typically, that's not as common in cats as it is in dogs, but some cats do have an issue with it. So if you're noticing it on a regular basis, definitely get it checked out. The other thing is they can develop little tumors back there, either with the anal tissue itself or with those glands. So you're going to want to get it checked out if it's happening. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. Next. Ma, da, 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 da. Great question. Oh, I also love Game of Thrones, by the way. So it's nice to be talking to a Targaryen. My friend's cat temporarily got out for a few hours and there are stray cats lurking in their compound. Do unspayed cats get immediately pregnant and conceive after one mating session? Can they? Oh, yes, they can. Absolutely. In fact, cats will not mate unless they are in heat, unless they are ovulating and able to get pregnant. So it can take just one time, just one. So if that's the case, it would be good to have that cat checked out by a veterinarian and see if there is indeed a pregnancy. It doesn't always happen, but it can happen. Okay. Okay. Here is another good question. Gloria, am I saying that right? Why is my 10-year-old cat always hungry and I don't know what to do? I'm sorry. Okay, so a couple of reasons why older cats can be hungry, and what is common is hyperthyroidism. Hyper meaning too high, thyroidism. So in their neck, okay, it's a dog, I know, but in their neck right here, cats have parathyroid glands just like we do. We have thyroid glands. They have thyroid glands. And in older cats, they can develop a tumor on their thyroid gland that causes them to make too much thyroid hormone. And so when a cat makes too much thyroid hormone, then they develop hyperthyroidism, and that can cause them to want to eat all the time. And they're more active. They tend to lose weight. They often vocalize more. Sometimes they have some hair coat changes. They might lose hair. They might have itchy issues. Sometimes their eyes are big and dilated because hyperthyroidism affects the metabolism, right? So it causes everything to go up. So it causes their blood pressure to go up. It causes their appetite to go up. It causes their activity level to go up. So that could be one thing. That is easily diagnosed by blood work and in a physical examination by a veterinarian. All right. Another common cause for a cat eating too much in their older years could be diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus is when a cat, there's two types. Type 2 is, I would say, more common in older obese cats. So it's cats that have their function, they're making enough insulin. Insulin is the hormone that deals with blood sugar, but they've become resistant to it. And so they are high blood sugar, and it tends to drive their appetite up. They also lose weight. The difference between hyperthyroidism and diabetes is these cats are often peeing a lot and drinking a lot is the other sign with diabetic cats. So that could be two reasons why. Okay, so good luck with that, my friend. Again, diabetes is also easily diagnosed with blood work from your veterinarian. You can also purchase urine test strips from your local pharmacy and test your cat's urine at home for sugar. Yeah, if you are curious. So those strips work just as well for cat urine, just as what it is, right? Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? I'm looking through your kittens right now, or I'm looking through your questions, not your kittens. Here we go. Oh, seeing question. Good question. Vet recommended Hill's prescription dental food. Hill sells Science Diet dental food at stores. It's less expensive. Yeah, it is, right? What is the difference? Okay, again, not a food expert here, my friends, but I'll do the best that I can. So the stuff that is sold over the counter is not clinically tested and proven to reduce tartar and plaque in cats' teeth. What you're talking about is likely Hill's TD. I'm just going to check myself. TD for cats. You're talking about Hill's TD for cats? Yes. And that one has been tested to reduce plaque and tartar in cats. Okay. So the thing is, the way they've made this food, and this is the company, right? This is not me. This is what I was told, is that it has like this special matrix of fibers that act like a toothbrush to scrape the tooth to remove bacteria that causes plaque and gingivitis and tartar. All right. So they developed this line, and it's accepted nutrition, and it's accepted by the Veterinary Oral Health Council as well. So it's also, I think the other thing about that is that they're formulating their prescription foods to provide a urinary environment that reduces the risk of urinary crystals in cats. So that's probably why it's more expensive, because it is clinically proven. The over-the-counter stuff could work just as well. You can try both and see what you think. But that's about all I got on that. Okay. Okay. Hello, Lucas. Hi, how are you? Thank you for doing this. What is the best natural remedies for chronic kidney disease? So I will give you one that I know of that is very, very helpful, and that is omega-3 fatty acids. Yes, I know it's not very sexy, but omega-3 fatty acids are incredible for helping to promote kidney health, even in kidneys that are debilitated. And the reason is that they provide a protective environment for the kidney cells. They provide a lot of nutrition for the kidney cells, and it just seems to help these cats do better for longer. A lot of the kidney foods that are out there that are actually supplemented with omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil or krill oil. So that would be the main one that I would recommend. I would love to see all cats that are having kidney issues that can tolerate supplementation with fish oil or krill oil to be on that, because I feel like that helps a lot. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Can I talk about the Panleukopenia virus? Yeah, I can. So, okay. Panleukopenia in cats is another word for it is feline distemper. That is a virus that is very contagious and life-threatening, mostly in kittens. It attacks cats' cells, including all of their white blood cells, and it makes it almost impossible for them to fight off any other disease. Symptoms of panleukopenia can include vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, weight loss, high fever, loss of appetite, bloody diarrhea. Yeah, it's very weak cats. And treatment requires hospitalization, and recovery from it can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. So it's contagious disease. It's called feline distemper. The good news is there are vaccines available that are considered to be core vaccines in most kittens. You can get it in a combination vaccine, and typically cats are vaccinated between 6 to 16 weeks of age as kittens, every 3 to 4 weeks. Then they receive a yearly booster after that, and then it's every 3 years after that. That is the vaccination protocol that is recommended by the American Animal Hospital Association vaccination protocol. So here we go. Oh. Hello, Samin. Hello, can my cat die if he eats a lizard sprayed with insecticide? It's always possible. Yeah. So insecticides can affect mammals negatively at a high enough dosage. Would your cat die? I don't know. It depends on what kind they are using, right? Also, a bigger concern for me than insecticides, because those can cause a lot of toxicity, but even more concerning to me is rat poison. Rat poison is it can definitely be lethal if it's ingested. Even if your cat eats a mouse that has been killed by rat poison, that can still cause your cat to have issues. So I don't recommend using those kind of rat poisons around your house if you have cats or dogs. Okay. All right. Okay. I see some of these and they make me laugh, but that's about it. So, all right. For a 5-month-old, give me a second. Okay. For a 5-month-old kitten, wet food for a daily meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Would it be okay or best for a treat? I would say that for a 5-month-old kitten, that you can include canned food as part of the daily diet, right? Because a 5-month-old kitten is almost an adult cat. And so at that point, you can look to transitioning to adult foods anyways, but you can give canned food every day as part of the regular food, as long as it says certified to be complete and balanced by the AAFCO, right? Because that tells you that it is safe to feed that cat just that food and they will still get their complete essential amino acids. So I see you guys dialoguing back and forth about nutrition in the chat section. 100% awesome. Everyone's welcome to totally share their opinions. There are a lot of opinions on nutrition. I'll tell you, there's a lot. And again, I have seen people feed exclusively raw that's formulated by a veterinarian. They actually went to a nutritionist and had recipes given to them. And those cats looked great. I've seen cats just fed commercial kibble, and those cats looked great. So the thing is when you're choosing to feed your cat, the main thing is you need to make sure that the food is complete and balanced. Cats have amino acid requirements that are essential, which means they must eat them from their food. One of the main ones in cats is taurine. Taurine deficiency, when a cat is not getting enough taurine, actually causes them to have neurological disease. And so if you are thinking about feeding raw, great, right? Awesome. I don't have any opinion on that one way or another, except that you should work with a veterinary nutritionist, somebody who is board certified in nutrition, to formulate the diet for you, to formulate the recipes for you. And you need to make sure to protect yourself against foodborne illnesses such as E. coli and salmonella. You need to be washing your hands after you're handling this food. You need to be really mindful about where you're sourcing it from. So again, no judgment either way, right? We're all here. We all have our opinions and we all have our own pathways of doing these things. But you need to make sure that the diet, at the end of the day, is complete and balanced by either AAFCO, that American Association of Feed Control Officials, or that the diet is formulated by a board certified veterinary nutritionist. Okay. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, let's do it. So I have 7 minutes. Let's see what other things I can. Okay. Oh my gosh, hold on. The questions are coming so fast. Okay, wow, you guys are going fast. I'm so sorry if I'm skipping your questions. The chat window is like flying by with questions. So how can I stop my cat from chewing on wires? Great question. So electrocution is a common injury that we do see in very curious animals, usually younger animals. And if your cat wants to chew on them, couple of things. First of all, just bar access to them. Cover the wires in something else. You can try wrapping them in tinfoil. I have found that most cats don't like tinfoil for some reason. Now, that is not a global statement for every single cat, but is something you could try. You can also coat the wires in something that doesn't taste good. Lemon juice, Tabasco sauce, bitter apple, something like that, right? So that the cat, when the cat goes to taste it, gets a real yucky experience. I would recommend doing this with a wire that is not plugged into anything, right? So there's no way that this cat can electrocute itself. Also, you're going to want to watch and supervise this cat. Make sure that the cat doesn't ingest anything. But I've seen people that coat these wires with something that doesn't taste good or some sort of texture that doesn't feel good. And that is enough to deter the cat from that area. So barring access, making sure it tastes bad, things like that. Okay. Okay. Okay, this one I've seen come up several times, so I'm going to try and help you out here, okay? Okay, how to make a feral cat a home cat and litter train it and not kill your other cats when we bring it into our home. It's about 13 weeks old, and I was able to pet it, and it liked it a lot. Well, there's a lot going on here in this question, right? So my questions to you would be, before you bring a cat like this into your home, you need to make sure that this cat is definitely not going to bring ill or harm to your current cats. A veterinarian takes an oath, above all, do no harm. So you want to do no harm to the cats that you have already committed to caring for. These are your fur children. We need to make sure that they're safe and well cared for. So the best way to do that is make sure that this cat is fully vetted before you bring it into your home. That means capturing this cat some way, either in a trap or some other way, and having it seen by a local veterinarian. Having the veterinarian check it for, I'm thinking mainly infectious disease. So the things you do not want to introduce into your household that are most common in these feral cats: FIV, feline immunodeficiency virus, FIV. It is similar to HIV in humans. It's very common in feral cats, especially male feral cats that fight. Most of the cats that I saw when I was in practice and I worked in animal control would bring us cats that they had trapped, feral cats. We would test these cats and they would come up positive for FIV and FELV, which is feline leukemia virus, which is another highly contagious virus. You need to have the cat checked for both of those before you bring it home. You also need to have the cat checked and dewormed for intestinal parasites, because a lot of these feral cats will have a hodgepodge of intestinal parasites: whipworms, roundworms, hookworms, tapeworms, you name it, worms. They've got them, right? The other thing, they often come with external parasites: fleas, ticks, mites, ringworm. I'm just naming stuff off the top of my head, right? You don't want any of this in your house. No, it's not worth it. So have that cat totally checked out. Also, make sure that cat is spayed or neutered before they are introduced to your house. Once you've had all that done, you are going to have the most valuable guide on the planet at that point to help you introduce this cat to your other cats. It's called the veterinarian, who's doing all this work for you. So take that question and ask them, and it will be likely that they will send you home with a stack of papers on how to domesticate a feral cat and how to introduce that cat safely. But you have to start with making sure that cat doesn't have those infectious diseases before you get there. Okay? Good luck. All right, I'm going to do one more. One more, or maybe two, depending on the time. I have 2 minutes. Okay. My cat is 6 years old and about 20 pounds and doesn't play, but only once in a while. Could it be his weight? Yes! Could be. What? 20-pound cat? Okay, so there are some breeds out there, Maine Coon is what I'm thinking, that are fairly large animals. But most of the time when you see a 20-pound cat, probably some extra weight on that frame. These overweight animals they also have problems grooming. They can't get around to their tail, so oftentimes they'll have matted or greasy hair around their tail. And if they have any arthritis, any arthritis at all, the extra weight really exacerbates that pain. So they're not going to want to play. So could it be the weight and maybe some arthritis? I mean, I'm no expert, but it could be. So in that case, you're going to have to be really slow and gentle about how you help this cat. I have seen people with cats just like yours take their cat to don't laugh at me, friends, to a rehabilitation specialist. There are veterinarian rehabilitation specialists that have tools that can help animals exercise in a low impact manner so that they can burn the calories but not hurt themselves. The main one I'm thinking about is the underwater treadmill. So mostly underwater treadmills are used for horses and dogs, but I've seen cats be trained to walk on these things too. I've also seen cats be trained to walk on just a regular treadmill. So you're going to have to be really slow and gentle with this kid. Definitely get a vet check on this animal and see if it's something else. I mean, there could be a hormonal disorder going on that's contributing to the weight gain. So yeah, in answer to your question, could be. So great question. I appreciate everything that you are asking. Okay, as usual, my friends, you have hundreds of beautiful questions, and I don't feel like I have enough time to get to all of these. But I really want to because there's a lot of really good ones here. So, a couple of things I can offer you. There is a forum. So I'm with All About Cats. They're the ones who are sponsoring these wonderful webinars with you guys, these Facebook Lives. They have a website. It's called allaboutcats.com, and they have a forum where you can ask these same questions about healthcare, nutrition, behavior, grooming, all of this stuff. And there are not only me, I hang out on that forum sometimes, but there's other veterinarians there that I have seen provide amazing, insightful, big answers. So all of your questions are valuable, and I really want you to get the help that you need. So if you didn't have your question answered today, pop on over to this forum and ask your question there, and we'll see if we can help you. Otherwise, I am so pleased to be here with all of you. And I am so pleased to see so many people choosing to become more educated about their cat's health and having passionate opinions and sharing with each other and helping. So I'm so pleased to be part of that. And I'm so glad you guys come back month after month. So I do want to tell you that I am planning on running these Facebook Lives the last Tuesday of every month through the end of the year because this has been so awesome and I get to play with the stuffed animal. So please come back. I appreciate you and I appreciate your time and your questions. And I hope this has been helpful for you guys. So I will see you again last Tuesday of the month. And yeah, be well. I'll see you later.